Hey guys, today we settle into the kind of story that unfolds slowly, like steam curling off a cup of tea. It starts with pigeons pecking at breadcrumbs, a squeaky park bench, and the crisp click of wooden chess pieces on stone. You're walking through a park you've passed 100 times, earbuds in, your playlist halfway through a lo-fi beat that makes life feel cinematic. It's late autumn, the kind where everything smells like distant bonfires and dried leaves, and your hoodie is barely keeping the chill off. You don't plan to stop. You never do. But today, you do. Because something or someone catches your eye. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, drop your location and local time in the comments. I love seeing where everyone's tuning in from. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You first notice him because he's always there. Same spot, same posture, same long coat that might have been black in the 90s. He's hunched just enough to disappear into the scenery, like an extra in the background of a scene you didn't know mattered. But this time, you pause. Maybe it's the way the board is set, neat, precise, like someone expects something big to happen. You slow down, tilt your head. He doesn't look up, but he gestures with 2 fingers to the empty side of the table, like it's a reserved seat. You almost laugh. You play chess? You haven't touched a board since that one elective in 7th grade where the teacher smelled like chalk and quiet disappointment. But something makes you sit. Maybe it's the challenge in his silence. Maybe it's the way your day has felt too digital, too fast. You could use some analog slowness. He moves first, no words. Just a knight, gliding like it knows the outcome already. You fumble your response, pushing a pawn without strategy. He doesn't flinch, just plays. Clean, thoughtful, cruel even. Within 7 moves, you're sweating like it's an exam and wondering how it all went so wrong. By move 10, your king is doomed, and you're left blinking at the board like it betrayed you. Again, he rasps. His voice sounds like gravel that's been soaking in tea. You nod before you realize what you're agreeing to, and so it begins. Every day after class or work or whatever routine you try to maintain, you detour to that table. You bring your own thermos one day, offer him coffee. He declines with a twitch of his mustache, but you leave it there anyway. Still, no names, no small talk, just chess and losses. So many losses. You start reading openings, studying defenses, Sicilian, Queen's Gambit, even the ones with names that sound like IKEA furniture. But none of it helps. Not really. Because he plays like someone who's forgotten more than you'll ever learn. Sometimes, mid-match, he looks bored, or sad, or like he's remembering something that has nothing to do with you at all. And it gets under your skin. Your roommate catches you practicing against a laptop program and says, "Bro, are you trying to become the next Netflix special?" You tell them no, but maybe. Kinda. One evening, the wind is brutal and the leaves are doing acrobatics across the cement. You bring an extra scarf, hand it to him. He takes it. Doesn't say thank you, but nods once. You realize that's probably enough. This time, the match is longer. 39 moves, a record for you. You almost win. Almost. But he traps your queen with the kind of smug elegance that should be illegal in public parks. That night, you post a meme, a photo of the chessboard with the caption, "I just got curb stomped by Gandalf." Somehow it goes viral, like properly viral. 10,000 likes in 2 hours. A grandmaster retweets it. Someone photoshops the old man into a Marvel movie poster and calls him the Chess Avenger. You scroll through the comments, laughing, until one says, "That guy? Pretty sure he used to be a legend, like international tournament level, name's Theo something." Your heart hiccups. You go back the next day and he's there. Of course, same coat, same quiet, same challenge in his fingertips. You play, you lose. But this time, before you leave, you ask, Were you Theo Bernhardt?" He pauses, just long enough for the air to shift. Was, he says. And that's it. No monologue, no dramatic reveal. Just a man, older now, playing for free in a park that doesn't know what it's hosting. Authors still debate whether greatness fades or just evolves into something quieter, whether legacy needs an audience. But that day, you start to understand. Some masters don't need trophies. They just need someone to sit across from them and try. So now you're not just playing to win, you're playing to understand. You go deeper, like Reddit forums and obscure YouTube channels deep. You print out old tournament footage with Theo's name on the bracket sheets and circle it like you're solving a crime. Turns out, the man you've been casually losing to in a city park once beat a Soviet grandmaster in '89. People still argue whether it was luck or genius. Spoiler, you now know it was genius. But Theo doesn't talk about that. Ever. If you try to bring it up during a match, he shuts down like a vending machine you kick too hard. Instead, he teaches you by punishing your mistakes over and over, like chess is both therapy and justice. And maybe it is. You start timing yourself. You watch your losses back on a virtual board and write notes like, "Don't move the knight like an idiot." Your Google history is 90% opening traps and 10% wondering why you dream in black and white squares now. Your friends think you've gone off-grid. You skip hangouts. Say things like, "I can't, I've got a match," which sounds cooler than it is. It's not a tournament. It's an old man with too many layers and too few words, slowly rearranging your ego one pawn at a time. Then comes the day you win. It's raining lightly, not dramatic thunderstorm weather, just soft drizzle that makes the board slippery and your fingers stiff. You're 3 moves from disaster when you see it. An opening, a trap, a line you saw on a subreddit buried 30 comments deep. You try it, your knight dances, his bishop falls, he leans in, frowns. You hold your breath. Checkmate. You actually whisper it, like it's sacred. Theo doesn't blink, doesn't even scowl. He leans back, folds his hands in his lap, and nods. Just once. "You learned," he says, "and you think that's it? That he'll pack up and vanish like some urban legend you accidentally completed? But he shows up the next day, and the next, because it was never about the win. It was about the game, about showing up. One afternoon, you post the win on your story. Nothing fancy, just the final board position and took down the GOAT. It gets traction. Again. This time, chess influencers comment, someone tags a national chess account. A TikTok creator makes a side-by-side of your photo and old footage of Theo in a suit, shaking hands with a Russian player before a match. It's weird, beautiful, slightly unhinged, but then it gets messy. Someone posts a side-by-side of current Theo and past Theo, calls it from legend to lawn ornament. It trends. People laugh. They don't know him. They don't know that he hums when he's thinking, that he always taps the bishop before moving it, like it's a habit carved into his bones, that he plays because it's who he is, not who he was. You don't show him the post, but you see something in his eyes the next day, like maybe he's seen it, or maybe he's just tired. He doesn't play that afternoon, just stares at the board, then says, "They only remember the wins, not the work." You nod. Try not to ask too much. Instead, you sit with him. No game, just silence. It's weird how loud the park feels without the ticking of your mental chess clock, like the world has too many pixels when you're not focusing on 64 squares. After that, you keep showing up. Some days he plays, some days he doesn't. One day, he brings an old wooden board instead of the concrete one at the park table. It's beautiful, worn, smells like tobacco and time. "Used to play with this overseas," he says, placing a pawn like it belongs there more than anywhere else. "Carried it in a duffel through half of Europe. Won a lot, lost more." You play quietly, the wood clicking like a metronome. You think about how much he's carrying that doesn't show, about how many people walk past him every day and think he's just another retired guy killing time, not realizing he's teaching the sharpest strategy class money can't buy. Authors still debate whether genius is born or made, but they often forget to ask what happens when genius is forgotten, how it reshapes itself in quiet corners, how it waits patiently to be noticed again. One weekend, a little girl from the park wanders over. She's maybe 7, wearing a backpack shaped like a cat. She watches you play. You offer her a pawn. She giggles, takes it, and mimics your next move. Theo smiles for the first time in weeks. You snap a picture. Just her tiny hand beside his weathered one, both hovering above the board. Post it with, "Legends don't fade, they teach." It doesn't explode this time, doesn't need to. Just a few heartfelt comments. A woman writes, "He taught me once, in Berlin. I never forgot." That one sticks with you, like a bookmark in your brain. You stop thinking of it as just a park bench. Now it's a classroom, a chapel, a memory being built brick by silent brick. Theo starts opening up, just a little. He tells you about a tournament in '84 where his opponent fainted mid-match, and they paused the game, not for health, but because chess clocks wait for no one. He chuckles at that. Dry but real. You laugh with him. Not because it's hilarious, but because it's rare, sacred. He starts bringing a thermos too. Tea, not coffee. Smells faintly of cloves. You sit across from him, sipping yours, and suddenly this whole thing feels like ritual. The board, the game, the hush between moves. Sometimes you talk. More often, you just play. Then one Monday, he's not there. You wait 5 minutes, 10, half an hour. The pigeons seem confused too. No Theo, no game. You come back the next day, still no sign. You check the local paper, ask the park staff. Nothing. Then, on Wednesday, there's a note taped to the chess table. Weather-worn, barely legible. "Thank you for seeing me." That's it. Your chest tightens. You sit anyway, set up the board, play both sides. It's weird, sad, but somehow soothing, like saying goodbye in the language you both spoke best. A kid watches, same girl with the cat backpack. She asks if she can try. You teach her, slowly, kindly. You hear yourself say things Theo used to mumble under his breath. Control the center, always look 3 moves ahead. You sound like him, not in voice, but in spirit. Weeks pass, you keep showing up. The kid brings her brother, then her cousin. Soon, you've got a whole semicircle of young players calling the old table Chess HQ. You bring extra boards. Teach what you know, what Theo taught you. One afternoon, you get an email. It's from someone claiming to be Theo's niece. She thanks you, says he talked about you often, called you the one who stayed. He'd passed peacefully in his sleep. The same week, he stopped showing up. He left the wooden board to her with a note. If he wants it, give it to him. He earned it. You don't cry, but your hands shake when you unpack the board. The pieces are softer than you remember, or maybe your palms have just learned respect. You take a photo, just the board. Caption, still learning. Quiet, gentle. It gets shared. Not viral, just steady. Then someone makes a documentary clip about Theo, uses your story, the memes, the footage. A chess company sponsors a youth tournament in his name. You're invited to speak. You think you'll faint. You tell them about the man at the table, about what it meant to be taken seriously, to be mentored without ego. You say, "He never asked me to prove myself. He just asked me to play." A kid in the front row raises his hand and asks, "Was he famous?" You say, "To me, he still is." Authors still debate whether mentorship is more about knowledge or presence. But standing there, in front of a dozen kids holding pawns like they're magic, you know the truth. It's both. It's showing up. It's holding space. It's teaching someone how to move even when the world sees you as finished. Back at the park, the bench stays empty now, but the table isn't. There's always someone playing, someone watching. The pigeons are still terrible spectators, but the spirit of the game, the way it teaches, humbles, and honors, lives on. One day, you catch the cat backpack girl teaching someone else. She says, Never underestimate anyone, even the quiet ones. And you grin like your whole soul is nodding. And that, really, was the checkmate move all along. The breeze shifts through the trees like it's brushing pages in a book that's nearly finished. The sun's lower now, casting long golden shadows across the park paths and chess tables. You sit still for a moment, hand resting gently on a pawn, eyes half-lidded, letting memory and meaning settle softly in your chest. You don't need to say goodbye to someone like Theo, not when his lessons still echo in your decisions, in the way you treat others, in the way you've learned to slow down and see what's often missed. The board remains, the pieces still speak, and tonight, maybe somewhere, someone else will take a seat at a forgotten table and find themselves surprised, not just by the game, but by who's waiting across from them. Not flashy, not loud, but ready. So if you've ever doubted someone because of how they looked, how little they spoke, or how quietly they moved through the world, maybe take another look. They might just be the one teaching you your most important move. Let that thought carry you to sleep. Let it soften your breath. Let it remind you that wisdom isn't always announced. It's lived. And that, right there, is the move that matters most. Not checkmate, but connection. If this story made you feel seen, hopeful, or a little bit emotional, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear it, and tell me in the comments who in your life deserves more respect than they're given. Let's build a community that sees the quiet ones. If you want more stories that make you think, feel, and hopefully change a little bit of your day for the better, subscribe and follow along, because the best lessons are often hidden in the simplest moments.